Welcome back to Joe's Son of Boxing. I'm doing 3 videos. One on, this one, which is going to be on Agit Kabayel. I've done one on Joseph Parker. I've done one on Daniel Dubois. And what I'm doing is I am putting the case forward for all 3 of those heavyweights as to why they should be fighting Oleksandr Usyk next for, well, in the case of Daniel Dubois, it would be an undisputed fight. For the other 2, it would be for 3 of the 4 belts. But this video is going to be about Agit Kabayel. And if ever there was a man who has sort of slipped under the radar and suddenly appeared from nowhere to score 3 absolutely brilliant victories, it's this guy. More to the point, he scored 3 body punch knockouts, essentially. Maybe it's not just the body work that got the job done, but the body work was absolutely influential in his 3 victories, And so I think the Zhang certainly the Zhang win was a body punch knockout, and the Makhmudov one was great. But look, this is a guy who at 32 years of age, like I say, suddenly he's come out of nowhere, and for years he appeared to be in the wilderness. I mean, he's kind of undefeated. Well, he is undefeated in 26 fights, 18 KOs, no draws, no defeats. But if you consider prior to his last 3 fights, I mean, he's a former EBU champ based in Germany. He was beating people like for the EBU title, like Andrei Rudenko, who was, a decent European level fighter. He got a 12-round decision over Kevin Johnson, an ancient Kevin Johnson. That was in 2021. And he's knocking out, people like Pavel Sauer in 1 round. Pavel Sauer's been knocked out in 1 round by just about everyone on the European circuit. He had a majority decision over Derek Chisora in 2017, that long ago. And he just sort of floated around at European level, maintaining an undefeated record. And then suddenly in 2023, December 2023, that fantastic card just before Christmas, he faced Arslanbek Makhmudov, who at the time was 18 wins, no draws, no defeats, and had been smashing everyone up. Hugely intimidating looking fighter, Makhmudov. He just looks like he wants to kill you. Russian guy, 33 at the time, maybe, or I think he's about mid-30s now, about 35 now. And he was, okay, Agit Kabayel, decent boxer, decent mover, I'll chop him up and, chew him up and spit him out. And Makhmudov currently he's 19 wins with 18 KOs and 2 defeats. Because since losing to Kabayel, he's lost to Guido Vianello on a TKO in 8 rounds. So his career has come apart, really. He's based in Montreal in Canada. And to be honest with you, he was exposed by Kabayel and has been further exposed. But Kabayel didn't know that at the time. And Makhmudov was very much an avoided guy. And no one, well, maybe not no one, but very few people were giving Kabayel a chance against Makhmudov. Well, in fact, Makhmudov completely and utterly schooled Kabayel, absolutely schooled Arslanbek Makhmudov and knocked him out in 4 rounds, only 4 rounds. And again, we're talking body punches. Makhmudov was on the floor 3 times. And, I mean, just a real coming out party for this guy. In Riyadh, well, of course, no surprise, the excellent Turkey says, come on back, mate, come on back. And who was next? Another one, another undefeated fighter, Frank Sanchez, the Cuban Flash, does he call himself? And Frank Sanchez, again, many people's call for maybe the next leading heavyweight. And Kabayel took him on in Riyadh. This was in May of last year. And knocked him out in 7 rounds. Again, body punches were definitely a factor, a huge factor. Sanchez was down twice in round 7, which was when the fight was stopped. And a lot of people have said, well, Sanchez looked injured. Now, I go along with this. I think Sanchez had an injury possibly to his knee. But you know what? It don't matter. It don't matter. You can't knock, say, Joseph Parker for taking on Bakole, even though Bakole was completely and utterly unfit going into that fight. Had no preparation whatsoever. It doesn't matter. If you get in that ring, you beat what's in front. If your opponent gets in the ring, you beat what's in front of you. And if you get in that ring, you can't complain. So I'm taking nothing away from Kabayel. for knocking out Sanchez. I still think that's a terrific win. Sanchez had one comeback against the journeyman, but will he be the same after that fight? I don't know. And then there was a gap of 8-9 months, was it? When Kabayel again, and you were thinking, oh, he's not going to sort of fade away again. I mean, he was so good against Sanchez and Makhmudov. Surely he's going to keep this ball rolling, this momentum going. And he fought Zhilei Zhang at the weekend, and we know what happened there. He knocked Zhang out. He came off the floor in the 5th round from a big backhand. Zhang's a southpaw, so it would be a left-hand backhand. Put him down. Zhang, an enormous man. But Kabayel weren't going anywhere. He was actually fighting fire with fire a lot of the time, just as he did with Makhmudov. And Kabayel was able to sort of not just diffuse Zhang with skill, but to kind of outpunch him and batter him to the body. And it was interesting because the punches were not just coming around the sides with the ribs. You know, he was punching a lot to the solar plexus. So Zhang didn't have a clue where the body punches were coming from. And you so rarely see the art of body punching, especially amongst the heavyweights. But Kabayel he's got it down to a T. And that is another fantastic win. So in the space of, what should we say now, 16 to 15 months, say, he's had these 3 fantastic wins over 2 undefeated fighters and one who's very, very highly thought of. And none of those 3 has gone beyond 7 rounds. And body punch knockouts. I mean, I like watching Agit Kabayel because he is so intelligent in that, and he's got such confidence. Now, they do say styles make fights. So have a think about this. Kabayel's style with the body punching against Usyk. Now, what is the one thing that people have said about Usyk? There may be a question mark over that. What's that? Oh, yeah, body punching. Taking it to the body. If anyone is going to ask that question of Oleksandr Usyk, it is Agit Kabayel. And we all know Usyk has this, incredible ring IQ. He's extremely versatile. But I think the matchup, stylistically, is fantastic. Kabayel against Usyk. Brilliant. I mean, I really want to see this fight. Now, if you're saying to me, who do you think of Dubois, Kabayel and Parker deserves the Usyk fight the most? I think you can make a strong case for Parker. But if you're saying who do I want to see fight Usyk next, in other words, stylistically, who am I most intrigued about? Kabayel and Usyk. I think so. So I kind of want to see this next, but I don't think it'll happen because Kabayel, I don't know, even though he's had 3 fantastic wins in Riyadh on the bounce, maybe he's just not fashionable enough for. Maybe he's just not. Maybe he'll need to score another win over. I don't know. He's running out of people to fight, isn't he? Maybe if he fought Dubois next for the IBF title and knocked Dubois out, then I mean he'd have to fight Usyk, of course. But he deserves to continue having his big fat paydays, whether it's on Riyadh cards or elsewhere. And I like Agit Kabayel a lot. And I think you can make a very strong case for saying that Agit Kabayel is the 2nd best heavyweight in the world. As great as Parker's resume is, as excellent as Dubois' form has been since losing to Usyk, you can make an argument. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but you can make a strong argument that Kabayel is second only to Usyk. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. Again, I'm doing 3 videos. Have a look at all 3 of them. And then I'll leave a little poll on the community page and you can sort of vote on that and leave your answer as to who you think should fight Usyk next. Thank you very much for your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. You're helping the channel out a great deal. And spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to watch all 3 videos. See you later. Bye for now.